long that'll last. So
Yeah.
a $10,000 infusion could possibly keep these people, you know, that may allow me to continue paying what I have to pay so that they can catch up at some point. They've all, you know, made sure they've touched base with me and said, as soon as we get back to work, we'll get this caught up, and we want to get it caught up. But when you don't have any income, it creates a,
Oh God.
you know, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, MG had a conversation with one yesterday, and he sells timeshares, so he's not selling any timeshares right now, this
Whoa.
guy. And so,
Yeah.
but he's got some money, and they kind of agreed they just reduced it a little bit for now and tag it on later, you know, just so he could cover the mortgage, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that's how they're going to handle that. So it covers our part, you know.
Well, the mortgage
But
companies
gives them-
also know what's coming. So, you know, there are going to be some phone calls at some point. Just, you know, once we start going 2-3 months into this, it'll change colors, I think.
Yep. And Shelley, you just brought up something about timeshares. Whenever we finish talking about what we're doing here, please somebody remind me to bring that back up, because it was some things I've been hearing, but I don't want to break the train of thought what we got going here. So anybody else got some ideas or things of what we can be doing to help our people or to help ourselves, or how it can affect us or them? Tammy, you're in the insurance business. What have you been hearing?
I'm sorry, I had to take my phone off of mute. I apologize.
Okay. This is Tammy Williams. She's in insurance, and I buy insurance for my properties through her. And Kevin Hopkins and I have been dealing with it. I think I got several that's doing business with you now, right?
Yes, very
Yeah.
A good number. Shelley as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I thank you guys. Really appreciate
Yeah.
it. Good morning. I'm so glad that I'm
Morning.
able to join this morning.
Oh, well, I don't know if you heard what I said, but what is you've been in touch with the insurance companies. What are the insurance companies having to say?
Well, it continues to be business as usual. A lot of the underwriters and customer service reps are working from home. So there may be a bit of a delay. Some of them are working modified hours. So instead of being able to get them perhaps from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m., because there's, you know, some carriers that we deal with that are, you know, not just in the Eastern time zone. But the opportunity that we're having there is they are like waiving late fees. Some of the auto carriers, if you're concerned with that, are offering maybe, you know, like a 10-day grace period, which is pretty much standard if you're late. But it's kind of hard to say. They're not waiving or delaying more payments like they do with mortgage payments. It's pretty much business as usual.
Okay.
And that's
Anybody
kind
else?
of hard to hear. I mean, between my husband and I and the businesses that we have, we carry several general liability policies, several P&C policies as well. And I'm just like the gentleman who said earlier, he had to make his mortgage payment on the first. I had payments I had to make too as well for insurance, just to keep my policies going.
Yep. I'm going to say have a catastrophe. It's a huge one. Usually.
Yes, it is.
Yep. All right, y'all don't play cat and mouse. That's about a
Oh,
talk.
well, that's another thing that's on that application that you have to do for the 10,000 is you can report how much, how many rents that you have lost, you know, that you're not receiving right now. And you do have to also put in what your gross sales were last year and what your expenses were last year too. But other than that, that's about it. All right, I'm done.
I've got whoever sent me text messages, I've got them. I'm sending you the email right now. So, yeah, Tammy and Tracy and Nona and y'all. So I put my phone number in there. So just text me and I'll forward it as well.
Yep. You guys have any questions? If you're forwarding the email, it's got my email in there. info@sweetspotproperties.com.
SantaTCR@yahoo.com. Yep.
I want to say, hey, y'all. I miss you guys.
All right. Who is this?
Nia.
Nia, where have you been?
I was
Praise
looking
God.
like, damn it. Like, what is going, where, like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I was like, let me link in there. I'm like, oh, perfect. Was like, I wonder if they rearranged something because I didn't know what to do.
Hi, Nia. It's Nona.
Hey, Nona.
Good to hear your voice.
Yes. And last week when we had this, we had some people from Columbia and whatever with the Bob.
Well, he's back on this morning.
Oh, he's back on. Bob, are you on this morning? He got it muted.
Yeah, Tom. Hey, thanks for letting me on again. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
man. Hey, that's what we got here, Bubba. And you with the Midlands RIA, and you're the president of Midlands RIA in Columbia. And he's offered last week, and he talked to me after the meeting later and said that he'd be willing to help any of us to be able to, that are doing business in Columbia or what, he would be able to help us with some of the areas, tell us more about what we need to know, kind of short circuit a lot of stuff that we do, that we have to get on the books and find out. And then sometimes we really don't know until we get into it. So appreciate you doing that, Bob.
Well, I appreciate you all. You got a great bunch here.
Man, you ought to be whenever we get together. I mean, that's slow compared to that. I think everybody on the call they'll admit to that. I know Sean said that he went and visited another one. Mind me sharing that with you, Sean? Sean, you got it on mute.
Yeah, I had to find the mute button.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna name any names or anything else, but you shared with me about going to another meeting one time.
Oh yeah. They went to one meeting and they had asked if I was a part of any other groups, and I told them about ours and started listing out all the things that were provided by Santa and the caravans and all the different things we do. And then he's like, "Man, those are great ideas," and he was writing them all down on a napkin. And then I went to a meeting a month later where they had their grand opening, and they were like, "This is all the things we're going to do." And it was just a list of everything that I had told them we did in this group.
Oh, wow.
That's funny.
He extended a lot of that too. He felt like he was the bright bulb in the package. He is. Yeah. He's not with us all the time, but I guess you could be with us on Zoom though, right? Whenever are you in the States now? Are you home or what?
Yeah, so I'm home. I haven't been able to come anymore because I got a real person job and had to start working during the time.
A real one? A job?
So now I'm working remotely because of this, and I was like, well, I can do both now.
Yeah. Great. That might be why we're carrying it on, eh? Okay. All right. Anybody else? What else you got? Well, I'll bring up the I've been hearing some stuff about timeshares. And I know that in the back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, timeshares, you were knocking them out the park, Bubba, to have one of them things, you know?
Exactly.
You know, and then there's a lot of people that just quit paying them. And then some people said they had them paid up and they were trying to sell them and whatever. Well, then I hear other things. And I know that in any business that we're in, we got to stay in advance, learn it all the time, because just like this coronavirus thing, we're doing things right now that we've never done. Some of you have, but I haven't, and most of us haven't. Or to be able to share like what we're doing now, how we can make our business better. So, and whenever like Shelley put out that I appreciate you doing that, baby. That's something that all of us have thought about a little bit, baby. But, and then too, how we gonna help other people. But I know that the marketplace out there it's gonna be changing. It's changing every day. And it's not just changing where we at. It's changing in places that we've been fortunate. Golly bum, I mean, we're in a hot spot. And we just been fortunate, but we can't get relaxed, because if we do, we're gonna be lost. So I know in the smaller areas, like I've always said, I said the areas that are not in the hot spots or in the down zones, there's grants out there for those places too. And if we work hard and catch up on these stuff, on the grants and whatever, that we can help these smaller towns and smaller areas, bad, low-income counties that don't have the industry that we got now, or maybe hopefully they will get. But, and even Shelley and MG mentioned to me one day about Williamsburg County. And I said, yeah, I'm from Williamsburg County. They said at Lanes. I said, I'm from Lanes. They said, no, you ain't. I said, yes, I am. But I got spies in that group. Right now, my daughter lives there in Lane, and one of my daughters. And she's going to all the meetings. I'm telling you, she's going to wear them out if they don't have a meeting and they go somewhere else for a meeting. So it's stuff to be in touch with. And that brought me back to, I mean, like, one other thing is, we can, in our hot spot, and if anybody can correct me on any of this, please, but this is what I see. In our hotspot areas, we get an unbelievable rents and payments or sales price, whatever. It almost scares me back to the things that most probably 2005, 6, and 7, and then we had to crash in 8. So I think the market's checking itself, but we can go to these outlying areas that are not hotspots, and we pay less for the properties. We can charge less because the amount of money that they are used to paying or can pay is not the same as what the people in these areas can pay because of their income. So you actually wind up making the same amount of money. It's just not as much, or close to the same amount of money. And you're actually doing something to help other people. And that's what our group is about, providing education to help other people. And for those that don't know, we got 7 meetings a month. We have a breakfast meeting every Tuesday morning. You men's got 6, women's got 7. Okay, so on the second Tuesday night, we have our main meeting. And that's something now we're working on. Several of us are working together, trying to get what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. We've got a film library. And thanks to Felix, that he had been doing the filming for how long, Felix?
It's been at least a year now. I think there's 10 or 11 up on the YouTube, and I've got 2 more I've got to upload. That was the one from January where David and I talked about wholesaling, and then February is where Will spoke about his rehab process. So those still have to be uploaded.
And I did creative financing.
Exactly. We got the creative financing as well.
Right. So,
are you guys going to do that on Zoom? Are you guys going to bring the monthly classes on Zoom?
That's what we're thinking about doing.
Yeah, we were talking.
If everybody have an interest in that, anybody can jump on. There wasn't no problem. But if we have these, we got, like I'm saying, we got 5. We got a breakfast meeting every Tuesday morning. Normally at IHOP, but now it's bring you on breakfast. All right. All right. But on the second Tuesday nights when we have our main meeting. And actually, they haven't said anything about us reducing our rent for that, but I wouldn't have a problem with going ahead and paying that. But I think Will's working that out, working with the people, because we had a nice new building now and that kind of thing. Don't want to lose it. The third Tuesday night, the ladies group, and Susan Harrison runs that, and they meet at Panera Bread at Tangent Mall. And a lot of women want to talk that won't talk out in front of all the guys. I'm sorry about that. I wish you would, because I love to hear from you. But the what's next? Oh, the caravan is on the last Saturday every month. So we experienced that last Saturday, so that was great. But anything else, if you, and I invite people to go and join, go to other meetings, see what they got. You know, hey, if it's great, bring it on. Let's see what we can do. We can help, because we're trying to help people and our members, providing all we can for them. But the thing I brought up about does anybody know anything about what that timeshare market's doing now? Because I'd heard some other things, but I wasn't sure I heard what I heard.
So MG, you know, like I said, he talked to our renter, and the renter is actually like a district manager, and he basically told him it's shut down, and he's in Myrtle Beach.
Yep. Yeah, everything right now, the governor most probably, I think it was today, he did shut everything down for the waterways. Dadgummit, I wanted to be in the other end of the boat with something on my grandson or somebody else fishing. I could do that. I wasn't social distancing. Yeah, it's a big lake.
All right, MG says that he worked for Wyndham, and they're worldwide. And worldwide, they laid off 30% of their employees.
Woo.
And they have several 100,000 employees, he says.
Yeah,
Yes.
They're cutting people like crazy at my husband's job. Keeps being saved every far, but they are cutting heavy.
What does your husband do? What industry is he in?
He paints.
Okay.
So like painting parts for like Boeing and hospitals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He works at Metalworks. And so, yeah, they cutting heavy. I mean, they're not a big, huge company either, but they cut 11 people. Like after everything happened, they shut down everything. 2 weeks ago on a Monday, they cut 11 people. And then yesterday they just cut, I think, 6 more or 8 more. And it seems like they're cutting every 2 weeks. So my theory is they're just going about every 2 week basis, go ahead and cut, because it seems like they cut down like the people you need that's kind of helping out, that's needed, but you can really still survive without them. And then yesterday they cut the people who made the most salary, like who made the most money. They cut them people yesterday. So it seems like, thinking business wise, it seems very strategic, and they just playing it. So basically going like, let's go see what the next 2 weeks is looking like. And then the next 2 weeks, whatever, if business is still running good and they can cut more people, you know, it's a sad situation. But when you think business, if your business can sustain with 15 people and you had 45, I don't really know if you're going to go ahead and really employ back all 45 of those people, if it can run 3 months straight without 45. So that's just my theory.
Yeah, but they're running on a small demand.
I could be wrong though.
They're running on what, Tracy?
They'll be running on a small demand right now. They will go back up.
Yes.
Yeah,
I heard on national TV this morning, the guy that does restaurant rehabs and bars rehabs, that guy's got a lot of restaurants himself, and he's president of the Restaurant Association, I think in Nevada. Yep. So, but he said that I didn't think about this, but I know the restaurant people are, even though we've been talking about laying off people, because that's the people we closest more to. There's a person that serves and that kind of stuff. He said, but like the restaurant itself, they are having to, all that food's gone. It's got to go. It's got to be dumped out, got rid of if they still got it, because it's not fresh. And they can't it's just too many problems. Got to get rid of it. So whenever they do get started back, and he said the social distancing, if that's what it's going to be to get started back, that they cut the restaurant by 40% of maybe being able to space out the tables for them to be able to keep that distancing. And then they're going to have to, the restaurant itself, another thing other than the labor force is the food. And they got to start back again. How do they order? How much they order? How can they afford? What can they do? That kind of stuff. So I mean, something I had not thought about at a restaurant. I'm thinking about the people. Poor people got laid off. Thank God I'm in business for myself, but yet we manage our own selves. But hey, what are we going to do? We don't know that. That's why I'm saying the world's changing. I don't want to scare anybody, because I want everybody to come back and do great, wonderful things. I think it is going to be exploding. And thank God we got somebody in the leadership that understands business. And that's what he's all about, making money, and how for people to promote people to make money.
So,
Go ahead.
do you mind if I was just going to say, do you mind if I touch on something? I think last week I spoke about it, and then on the caravan I spoke a little bit about it, about
Okay.
this foreclosure property that I've got coming up.
Right.
So I met with the homeowner yesterday, and I've got the keys to the house and put a lockbox on the house.
Good.
I just don't. Here's the thing. Here's my main concern. I've never worked a foreclosure house before, so I'm a little concerned that if I lock it down at a price that I can't actually sell it at, if I'm doing more harm than good, in terms of working with that homeowner. So I'm trying to get, people to go by there to take a look at it. I've got, 70 pictures and like a 3-minute video of it, to see if, first of all, if anybody would be interested in it. And if so, what would your price be at? That way I can just kind of reverse engineer and say, okay, I know someone will pay $65 for it. Let me lock it down, at whatever, we need to get it at. And then I know that we have a buyer for that, being that it is a foreclosure. Now I know they haven't, it's not going to go to auction this month. I think they've stopped that, but
For what, 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, nonetheless, it's still a little, it's my first time doing it, so I'm a little apprehensive.
Hey,
but
you had a couple offers last week.
Yeah, well, and I'll just throw it out there. So it's the 4-bedroom, 2-bath, over in Dorchester Terrace. It's a pretty nice little rental. I mean, they bought it back in 2004, put about $40,000 worth of work into it. So it's got a 15-year-old AC system, but it's a big, nice one. They converted it to a 4.2. It's got a newer roof, new siding. It's not bad, and I'll be happy to send anybody the pictures and the videos so they can take a look at it. And I spoke to a gentleman who owns quite a few Section 8 rentals over there in that neighborhood, both Dorchester Terrace and Wayland. And he said it should bring, about $1,200 a month through Section 8. He said he had somebody who had a $1,500 voucher, but he just didn't have a place to put them. So he's going to go by and check it out. But I also wanted to extend that invitation to our group as well. If you're looking for a rental, if you're looking for, an option, maybe that's something that might be good for you. I think I put my number in the chat. It's but I can say it again. It's 843-718-8794. And yeah, so I'd be happy to text you the photos and the pictures. Like I said, it's this lady, I've been working with her since July. She just lost her job, so she's a paralegal for a law office here, and she lost her job. So that kind of goes back to figuring out who's losing jobs and whatnot. But also, she's in a tough spot, and I certainly don't want to. I'll be honest, I don't want to mess it up. I want to be able to get somebody who's actually going to buy this property and get it done for her. And she's looking to get a job with the government, and they're doing a credit check, and, she needs this cleaned up. And, Santa, to your point and what everyone has been talking about, there's a lot of folks who, if they're not already hurting, they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Us as investors, we really have the opportunity and that, and I think we're in a position to do that. So I know that I need help putting this together. So I'd like to work with y'all. So that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. And one thing on his benefit, and actually that lady had already moved out the house. She knew she was wanting it, but she's got to do some stuff. But anyway, when he mentioned one thing, and that is Section 8, and it is available in that area. But one thing about it, state people are going to be still getting funding to take care of these Section 8. Am I right? Would y'all? Anybody know any different?
I mean, I guess unless the government shuts down, I mean, doesn't that affect it? But other than that, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't know, though. I'm certainly not the expert in
And with the new
housing.
Section 8 program, which I'm calling it new, it's been available for 4, 5, 6 years, I think now. I did some Section 8 properties before, but when I got done, Bubba, I was done. Didn't want to have to keep putting up with all the imperfections that they had in that program, and the people could take advantage of it. And it was advantage against you, not they was taking advantage against anybody, because a lot of them are professionals that was on the program. But now the 2-year program for waiting list for people to get on. If they get into that program, they've changed it around. The money goes to you. The money follows the people, not the house. They will come and inspect the house to see if it be qualified for Section 8 tenant. But the money comes to you directly. And if they all, when they have a yearly inspection, you get the sheet tells what you're responsible for doing to keep it up to snuff, and what the tenant is responsible for. If they do not do their part and they get evicted for any reason, they get off of the program before, it'll be a while before they get in line again, because it's like I say, at least a 2 to 3 year, 2-year waiting list. And so once they get on the waiting list, it's not getting back in the house, they're gonna have to do on their own. So that shaped up a lot of them. And that's, I got a lady in one, I'm telling you what, that house, she keeps it, a speck of dust. They don't even sit on the living room furniture because they don't want any to mess it up. That type stuff. It's a little bit overboard, but it frustrates you sometimes. But I'm saying the program is a lot better today for the people that want to try it, investigate it, look at it.
How do you investigate it? I know MG tried to investigate it, and he could not get anyone at the housing authority to call him back.
Yeah, they're not
Wow.
going to call you back. We just
The
did
people find you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, as far as here's the thing. I have very limited experience working with the housing authority. We did a wholesale deal over in Wayland, and I had to go down there to figure out what the tenant's information was and what their lease was and all that. But anyways, you have to go into the housing authority to talk with somebody. They won't call you back. They'll forget to call you back. At least in my very brief experience, that's how I had to get information from them. And there's 3 different ones here. And I messed it all up. It was like, there's the city of Charleston, there's the city of North Charleston, and then there's Charleston County. There's 3 different, housing authorities that potential tenants can work with. So you have to figure out who are they with and whatnot. But if you want to talk with them, you got to go into their office and talk with them. There's one on Mount Pleasant Street. There's one on Meeting Street, I think. And then there's one up on River Road. So that's but if you go in there, they're very helpful when you go in there. I will say that. But you got to get in front of them to get any information from them. So
Okay,
that's just
thanks.
Another way of finding those people, because like I say, the money's going to follow them, not the house. Used to, the money followed the house. Now the money follows the people. So if you go and you talk to some people that's on Section 8 and you tell them you got a property available, if they knew of anybody that might have an interest, they know people. They know a lot of people. That's the renters. And
So you don't get the property approved for Section 8 at all. There's no way to do that. You just get a property, find the people.
you
and
find the
then-
people, they'll come and
then you
investigate
get
the property.
approved. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. They will
Yeah.
approve the property. Yeah. Or not. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, I was going to say you're exact. From what I've read, the housing authority, they do come in and inspect the house to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but finding I've got a little folder put together on my computer. I can send everyone. Like, it's not comprehensive. It's just what I could find from different websites and whatnot on how to what they're evaluating. So, Stan, maybe you can speak on that. Do you know how they evaluate a house?
Yes, they go in there and they start at the front door and they start at the front steps. And they start looking in the house, and when they walk into the door, they look around. In fact, about it on that first one I did that lately is that guy walked in and he said, wow. and it was a good wow. And he looked around, looked at the lady, he said, you've never found a place this good. He said, you better do everything in this world you can do to stay here. So, but he walked through the house, and I made him walk through a little faster, but he didn't pin, it was one thing he pinned me for was a cover for the recovery, for the vent to go back to the air conditioner. That cover had not been replaced. And when I had rehabbed it, I don't know what happened to it, but I went and bought another one and put it on it. And he was satisfied, no problem. And he'd give you like 60 days to let him know back, or 30 days. And I had it back, I had it on. And then we had a little problem on another rehab, maybe 2 years later, 3 years later. There's a list, like I say, he had a list for me. Very few things, but he had a list for her, for the tenant. And he expected those things to be done. It got done. I had to help her do some of them, but hey, that's fine with me. And but it got done. And I don't have, they don't really bug me. They send me a check every month. Yeah. And that check. I checked in Dorchester County was for that 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, mobile home. It was $800.
And do the tenants actually have to pay some of that too, or?
Not now. They give them another check to pay whatever. She pays a lot rent and that kind of stuff.
So the deal I just did over in Wayland, and
Yes.
like I said, I wholesaled it, so I saw how it worked. The rent was $850, and Section 8 was paying $675 of that, and obviously the tenant was paying the remainder. But she was on disability, so disability covered her portion of the.
That might have been why
the
she
rent.
had an extra payment.
Exactly.
Because 4-bedroom house over in North Charleston should be bringing 11 or 12.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, this is Steve. More on that. I believe the North Charleston one is right there on Ashley Phosphate in the Citizens Bank building, up on the 7th floor. The one that's right around the corner there on Ashley Phosphate from Rivers Avenue. The big Citizens Bank building, 7-8 floors tall.
Mhm.
Believe the North Charleston one is still up there. Not for sure on that. Haven't been there in a bit. We actually had Section 8 talk in one of our meetings a while back. This goes back way far, but you know, and of course things have changed since then. But if you put out on any of your ads, you know, with your house for rent, Section 8 accepted, believe me, you'll get a ton of calls. The last one I had, once we got into Section 8, there was people calling for wanting to get in, and we hadn't even rehabbed the house yet. That was during the floods, and I mean that goes back about 4 years. But we had people calling, you know, that had been flooded out and stuff like that, and you know, they were willing to pay pretty much anything they wanted to, you know, and like I said, when you put a price on the house, they have the option of paying out of their pocket for some of it. So, you know, Section 8 doesn't mean that, you know, their housing needs outweigh their income, you know, their debt to income ratio and stuff like that. So you have to evaluate, you know, what that person's going to get from the Section 8 check and voucher themselves. You know, they may be paying $1,200 for that 4-bedroom house, and if your rent is, you know, $1,300, $1,400, you know, they have the option to come out of the pocket. If they want the house, they can come out of pocket for it. And if they have the ability to do that, that's all fine and dandy with Section 8. At least that's
Because
the way
all
it was
Section
working.
8 people, all Section 8 people are not just don't have a job. Those Section 8, a lot of Section 8 people have got a job just to help. I mean, and they got a job, but they're just not able to keep up with the local rent in the area. That's another thing, and I think that's where you're bringing in there, Steve.
Correct. I mean, when you get a family of 4 or 5, you know, whether it's their own, you know, doing or whatever's happening in that family, and you've got a job that doesn't really support that income on the family, they apply for Section 8, they get Section 8 approved, and like Santa says, it goes with the people, not the house anymore. So, you know, once you say your house is Section 8 available, they'll find you. You know, they're looking for, if they're looking for a place to live that fits their needs, they come look at it. You can have a house in Crowfield and here in Goose Creek, which is, you know, upper end neighborhoods, and your neighbor could be on Section 8, you know, renting a house next door. And, you know, you just never know it until until you start asking questions, if you do or whatever. Like I said, they could be the nicest family in the world and collecting Section 8 because the job doesn't pay enough to meet the rental income. So that's all Section 8 is basically. It's an income and job matching, and then based on the you know, the available rents in the area. So like Santa said, when it goes with the house, you know, you can put all your houses up for Section 8. I think it was Will or somebody in one of our last groups had nothing but Section 8 houses for rental. They were collecting that rent.
Multifamily.
Yeah, and it was a good income. You know, you could always count on Section 8 being there. And like Santa said, when they come and they check out the house, they check it out there once every year. You know, they come in and do the inspection in the first place and look around for things that have to meet their specs. And they've got how, you know, they've got their specs, you know, like Santa said, they hit them on an air conditioning return vent that wasn't covered properly. They can hit you on gas lines and stuff that aren't proper. They'll hit you on floors that are uneven or in steps in the wrong place, different things like that. And once they approve it, once you get your inspection approved and everything, then they come back a year later just to check it out and do a quick once over. And you know, if the people have you know, demolished something, it's on the people. You know, they're not going to pay the Section 8 until those people get it straightened. Well, they'll pay the Section 8, but they're not going to pay the people, you know, their rent, or they're going to make them move out if they've destroyed the house or done something improper or whatever. So you're pretty much guaranteed.
They definitely don't want to get kicked off the roll.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good deal. And like I said, you know, you can be in a, you know, like I live in a, you know, middle income neighborhood, and it could be your neighbors that are on Section 8, and you'll never know it. So, Felix, you know, like I said, feel free to give Susan a call. I saw her pop up once or twice, maybe. So
Yeah.
On the phone? We talking about her popping up on the phone?
yeah, maybe.
Zoom?
I don't
Okay.
I
She's
don't
on
know.
here.
I was
on
wondering
here.
if she was just popping up. Now, come on.
Yeah. So, but you know, that getting back to the restaurants just real quick, Ruth Chris Steakhouse shut down for good after 5 years down in downtown Charleston. That was an upper end restaurant. Didn't give any more details on that, but you know, just to know that you got even some upper end restaurant chains closing. So, and they said they were closed for good. So don't know if there was something else going on. They just weren't getting the business or whatever, because that's a chain restaurant, even though it's really good. You know, there's a lot of local restaurants that are take up for their business down there. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh,
All right,
I
everybody.
wanted to tell you, thank you for your videos you've been putting on. I've been passing them along to our people, and I don't have the guts to do that. So I appreciate you stepping up and doing that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, that was something I was saying a while ago about the benefit, and my mind drifted off. You know, age reduces a lot of things to people, but conversation will too. But we have a video library, and we've just got our software and stuff for the computer. Nick was doing that, and he worked at Boeing, and he got put in another job where his time wasn't being available for us. In our program, we do not take a dime for doing this. We do it for free, going it out of goodness of hearts, because I want to help people. And whenever we got started with this, it was the four of us said, hey, we don't want any money. We just want people to come and share their knowledge. Well, a lot of times knowledge is worth more than money in the short run, or the long run, maybe, I don't know. But we got so many things else that we're doing. And what we do is your membership is $300 a year. If you have a partner that want to bring a significant other, a working partner, or whatever, it's only $50 more. And that's for a year to date. And we provide free meetings for people to come to see what we're all about. I'm one that I wouldn't join something unless I already knew what it was all about. So that's why we do that. And we're trying to do a lot of other, a couple of other programs that we're trying to work on, doing a 2 or 3 day meeting Tracy said he would do one on trust. And that's something he's did a program on trust. Mick Kewen, he's a HUD guy. He's one of 3 HUD people from Columbia back this way on to the state lines from Georgia and North Carolina. And he's willing to do that. And he also does notes. And now he is a person that a note company, a company that buys and sells a bunch of notes, has hired him to do online stuff with them, for them. And so he's having to juggle that time back in, but he wants to do a 2 or 3 day thing also. And we're just trying to work it out because we don't want to charge the members. So we may have to do it as another organization or something else. I don't know what. But anyway, we don't have plan to have a profit, but whatever it costs to do. And our membership is only 300. We're the cheapest people in town, money-wise. But we got most popular, a lot of most of the experience that actual people doing the jobs, doing the work. But we could be at the Coliseum like we have been in the past, not this group, but other groups we've been members of. And I mean, when you're ready to spend $750 for 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours for a meeting place, the rent's got to go up. So therefore, what we're trying to do is like what we're trying to do. We only pay $200 a night for the building we're in. And that's at the Crosby Minor Crosby Community Center on Paramount Drive. And it's nice building. But we're trying to do this to help other people. We also have last 2 Christmas parties we have paid for out of the money that we did not spend. Now that money that we spent was to upgrade a lot of our equipment. And like Felix, he does this out of goodness' heart. He and Chelsea is there filming every meeting. We do some audio stuff. And that's what we were gathering this information to put on the computer to where people can go in as a member. And so you get an extra value of stuff. But for people that do this, anything they need to upgrade, we will pay for that. Because we want to make this the best the organization in the country. Yeah, but we're starting right here. And thank everybody for participating. So I want you to please say something. Y'all are wearing my throat out. I'll have to get some more coffee or something. Next, barbershop. Go ahead. What are you doing in business? What are you doing? Are you open? You got your business open? You still working at it? Or you just shut it down?
Yeah, my business is kind of already online, so I do a lot of consulting, and so nothing has really changed for me.
Yeah, Pest control is doing well.
Yeah, just getting contracts and stuff, but nothing has really changed. Now I was gonna go like do a lot of speaking events, but I just changed the module and just make webinars now. But I still got my audience going on, so you just revamp everything, revamp the process. But as far as the core, at its core, nothing has changed.
So you haven't think of stuff like what we're doing now?
Yeah, I do want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about virtual wholesaling? Do you think that's about to come to the forefront now, like heavy? It's already out, but virtual wholesaling.
Well, we kind of are already, you know, at least in my business, like we do a lot of land, and you know, when it's just land, I don't ever go see it. I just talk to the homeowners and I call my guys and we just get it done that way. And especially, you know, with being able to sign contracts electronically. I know Weeks in Irvine, I think Susan had mentioned this last week, only the seller and the buyer are allowed to be there. They're trying to minimize how many people are actually in the office. So you know, I know virtual wholesaling has a lot of, like you can be in totally different parts of the country. I'm not necessarily doing that. I'm still here in Charleston, Tri-County, but you know, like we do a lot of it virtually. When it's houses, you know, I have to go in there and take pictures and stuff, but like this one we just got, I put a lockbox on it, so I don't even have to go meet people over there. I just say, here's the code, go check it out. So
Yeah, so I've been thinking about, well, me and family has come together and putting our money to the side to invest in real estate. And so it's basically like just knowing somebody or paying somebody in there to take the pictures for you. Cool. In a different state, and still doing the actual business transaction virtually as well.
Yeah, but my phone was breaking up. I didn't hear too much of what you had said.
Having someone in a different state to take pictures, like I have a family members in Chicago and in Wisconsin, well, Illinois and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for me to send someone out there to take the pictures and send them to me, and still be able to do wholesaling basically virtually. And even if you did not know anybody in that state, you can probably pay somebody to make sure
there's companies there's companies you can hire where it's like Instacart, right? Where someone picks up your groceries and brings it to you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Let me see if I can find it, and we'll connect, and I'll send it to you. It's just a company that goes and takes pictures.
That's the only way I get my groceries now.
Oh yeah, now I do Instacart, but I didn't know that there were actual companies that were
they'll go out
like
and take
geared towards this.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Let me make a note and see if I can find that for you.
Or sending people out there to get videos and cameras of.
Yeah, they just go. You say, hey, I need you to go take pictures of this house.
Yeah.
And videos of the house.
Yeah, so. I didn't know there was companies doing that. I was just thinking about just sending a family member or somebody out there.
Larry Goins, Goins, Larry Goins is one of the biggest operators, and he's from Wiley Lakes, South Carolina, right up there, right outside of Rock Hill and Columbia. We've had him speak at one of our older events. Great guy. Susan and I thought of going with his program. He does virtual wholesaling all over the U.S., and that's what he does. He just puts a post up on. He finds a house that he wants, scouring the internet, and puts a post up on their local board for a handyman to go check it out, you know, and take pictures. He's got to take a minimum of like 100 pictures or something like that and send them back, you know, and he pays them for it. It can all be done online and everything. And then of course, Larry's got the pictures to look at, and, you know, he can make a decision as to what he's going to do with the house, whether he's just going to, and he'll probably just more than likely flip it. And, you know, he'll do the closings and everything all virtual. That's what his business is, and he's done a really great business.
That's exactly what I want to do. That would be game changer for how I'm really live globally.
Yep, exactly. And you can look him up. His name's all over the internet in our world of real estate. He does some big conferences about once a year, 2 or 3 times a year, depending on, now, not this time, of course, but of course, and now he's been in it so long, he's actually changed his model around a couple of times. You know, just I think now he's doing more online and more training to help other people out. So just another one. The name is Larry Goins, Goins. And he's written all kinds of books about it and everything else. So another good.
So spell his name again.
It's Larry, Larry, Goins, Goins, and you can look him up on the internet under real estate. Larry Goins from South Carolina, Lake Wiley, South Carolina, and like I said, it's. He does an awesome program. He invites people to his office and stuff like that to work with him. It's you know, like a training program that you go through, and it really works fine for him. Like I said, he's probably changed his stuff a couple of times now to roll with the times and to help people out. I know they were talking about closing like 25 houses a month at one time. So I mean, he's got a lot of people in his office and stuff like that, you know. But Santa, you've heard of Larry, correct?
I'm not sure though. What was he with?
Just Larry Goins. He's,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So my 2 cents worth on that one.
Hey, Shelly, I just sent you an email with that house over in North Charleston. It's got all the pictures and a video and whatnot.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. So,
Has anyone heard of anyone having trouble getting building materials? I just read an article on Forbes that said 54% of home builders are having problems getting the materials they need to finish homes.
Michael's rehabbing right now, and he's not having any problems, but he's not building. But
Yeah.
you know, some places are closed, like Floor and Decor. You have to order it online and then roll up to the back, and they won't let you go in the store. But all the building places are allowed to stay open.
It's likely affecting the larger home builders who order in large quantities first, I would imagine.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think
D.R. Hortons and
all the things that are getting delivered right now, a lot of truckers are delivering medical supplies.
yeah. And 30 or 40% of our building material comes from China.
Oh boy.
well, with that, oh, I'm not okay. I'm unmuted. With everything, I mean, they were shut down for 4 months over there, right? They're just now getting back up. So I guess that delay is finally hitting us. I don't that guess, but that's a supply chain thing, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, even you know, I think we're still going to be distancing from China pretty much because of what happened and how it's been done and everything. We're going to start using more U.S. made. Of course, it's not going to all go away at one time or anything, but more or less, I think we'll be starting to use made in USA stuff once this is over with, and not rely on China so much. Of course, like I said, it's not going to go away, but even Lowe's and Home Depot, there's been some irate people about social distancing and stuff in Lowe's and Home Depot and how many people are out and about just like their own normal day. And they've got online ordering and pickup if you know what you need. I know I went in there the other day for a specific light bulb that I was looking for. You know, the biggest and brightest light bulb, because I know I'm not. But
You did good, Bubba.
Yeah. So, but I had to go in store to do that. I couldn't find it online, and I knew what I was looking for. So I went in. The gentleman that helped me out, you know, social distance wise, we stayed apart. But you know, there was people milling around in there just like it was any old weekday. And I think they're going to start getting a little bit more tight on that. And you know, they're definitely restricting hours. They're closing early, and I think they've opened up late. You know, and made some for seniors, like most companies have. But order online and pick up or have delivered. I think they're still doing both.
Sam's is also doing that for y'all, for people, for the seniors. They're doing a call in or online or whatever. They'll have the order pulled and you pull up and they'll bring it out for you.
Hey, Sammy, if you hear from other
Tuesdays and
builders,
Thursdays.
like if they're having trouble getting supplies, can you like just keep us posted on that if you hear more on that?
Oh, absolutely. Like I say, that was just a Forbes article I read. So
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what's going on.
It'll be interesting.
And I will if I figure out anything else or hear anything more. I missed the beginning of the meeting. Did anyone talk about, as any of you guys carrying a lot of properties, have you had tenants ask for forbearance or anything for April, or how's that going so far?
Yep. Well, that's what I brought that up, that we had been talking, and my wife come to me and asked me, what are we gonna do about the people that are not able to pay? And I'm saying, I'm saying, if they call and they say, come pick up the rent, or they call it rent, I'm selling it to them. They still got that rental mentality. But I'm saying the ones that are able to pay and already still have a job, I'm going to accept the money. But I'm also telling them, when you don't have a job, because I'm really close with most of my people. And but the ones that don't have it, I'll just put it on the other end of the note. And
Sounds
I'll go ahead
good.
and pay. I'm having to go and pay the lot rents and that kind of stuff because I'm at day busy. And as long as I got it, that's what I'm gonna be able to do. I hope to do. That's what I plan to do.
Yeah. It's good that you're in that position where you could withstand that.
Yes. Lucky. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. God's been good.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody, this is Susan. Good morning.
Hey, Susan.
Good morning, Susan.
Hey.
I just wanted to put a request out there. We're looking for 4 mobile homes, 2,000 and newer, vinyl siding, shingled roof, and we have 1 developed lot that we need to put the mobile home on. So if anybody has any mobiles that need to be moved, please give me a call.
Okay. Are y'all wanting them, or y'all wanting to buy them, or you wanting to let other people bring them and pay you rent? What you want?
Yeah, basically either way. The first one that I'm looking for, I have to place somebody into it out of one of our properties that we need to rehab. And
Yes.
so if, we would buy that one outright, or if somebody's looking for a tenant, they want to bring the mobile onto the property. But we are looking specifically to place a tenant.
Okay.
I'm actually looking, if anybody knows, I'm trying to find a deep water lot on Johns Island, preferably.
Okay.
Paying cash.
What's their budget?
That's a good one.
He
Depends.
didn't give me a budget. He just told me, find me a deep water lot on Johns Island. So if anybody happens to be sitting on anything that they're looking to get rid of, let me know.
That's nice with no budget.
Well, it's easier when it's not your own money.
Exactly.
So it has to be a deep water, not one of those shallow tributaries?
Yeah, it has to be deep water.
Okay.
Got a big boat, motorboat. Right?
Yep.
Justin, how about the mortgage companies? What are they saying?
Josh?
Man, it changes every day, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you come in one time, said anybody wants to do their stuff. We got a lot of money to loan at a low interest rate, 2% drop, where people should be before they do something with their old mortgage, redoing the mortgage. But then it was 2 days later, it was off. So now what are they doing?
So now, they've upped all the government, all the FDA, FHA, VA, and USDA. Before we would have to have a 580 credit score for FHA. and now all of them are a minimum of 640 because nobody's buying them on the secondary market. It seems like people with good credit are getting good rates. You know, like I locked somebody yesterday for 3.25. So like, and this guy was like a 730. There's another lady I locked at 3.25, and she was, you know, almost like an 800. So if you have good credit, the good rates are out there. You know, it's just like everybody in the middle, nobody has any idea like what's going to happen. And, you know, and even like now, the people that I'm working with that are buying houses, I have to make sure that whoever they're buying the homes from have a steady job, and like whatever their plan is to, you know, if they're buying another house or moving, that they're able to afford whatever, you know, whatever their next step is. So people are just being like really cautious. Everything's moving slower. There's a lot of, you know, normally a turn time would be like 30 days, and now, you know, it's really like 45 days. A lot of appraisers are like backed up, like, you know, the whole system's kind of like moving a lot slower.
So Josh, why are the appraisers backed up? We had one that we had scheduled about 3 weeks ago, and they finally got to our property today to appraise. Why are they backed up?
Well, there was like, you know, that window of like super low rates. Everybody and their mother that owns a house was trying to refinance. So the whole system like crashed, and, you know, the orders got lined up for all these appraisers. So that, you know, and some appraisers are refusing to appraise. Like they just don't want to go into the people's homes. So the people that are out there, you know, that number is reduced, and then it's compounded by like the multitude of all the appraisal of the refis, really. So it was just like a big boom. Like everybody tried to do it at the same time. That window was only open for like 48 hours. So, you know, basically for like a month after that window, it's a log jam. So it should start like freeing up, especially now that, you know, they've tightened up like the requirements and everything. It's crazy. Like last Monday, I gave somebody a pre-qualification letter for FHA, you know, and they had like a 620 score, and then by Friday I have to tell them that they're not qualified anymore, you know. So it's gonna get worse before it gets better, to be honest. I think like you have to you know, you have to kind of reach like that peak of bad before we can start moving down and things getting better. And I don't think that we've reached that peak yet. And I don't know, like, you know, now we have to make sure that these people, whoever's buying a home now, like that they even require them to show a pay stub after the closing to ensure that like they're going to be able to get paid throughout this whole process. So it's you know, it's uncharted territory, and there's just no chart. Like nobody really has any idea of what, you know, the Fed's going to do, because they're kind of screwing up. You know, they keep trying to bail everybody out, but they're actually like making it a little bit worse now. So we're just kind of taking it day by day.
So they're learning back from before the fall.
What's that?
They're going back and doing their research, what happened before the fall. And
yeah,
now
I mean,
they're kind of modeling it after that, maybe knowing a little better where they won't have such a influx of rehabs. I mean, of foreclosures.
Yeah, I mean, they're allowing like 90 days, you know, for people to, you know, push like 3 payments towards the end of like their loan. But, you know, is that even at the end of 90 days, like people, you know, it's not like, they're going to have all this money saved up and they can like get all caught up. Like they're probably just going to be getting back to work. So I don't know. It's just kind of a crazy time that we're in.
So are they given 90 days, and then after that 90 days, wanting that lump sum payment of all 3 months?
From what I understand, they're giving you like 2 options. Like you can do a lump sum at the end of those 90 days, or you can like push those 3 payments to the end of your 30 years or whatever your term is.
Okay. I'd heard along the line somewhere that people are these servicers are given these 90 days, and people aren't realizing that at the end of that 90 days they want payment in full for those 3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
So somebody called me yesterday to ask, and you just want to make sure you're crystal clear.
Yeah.
That you're not going to have a lump sum at the end of those 90 days. So then what's going to happen at the end of those 90 days? A bunch of foreclosure. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It'll be a mess.
So it's crazy. Like all these realtors have me like pre-qualify. I've got like 5 people that are purchasing right now, and I'm not in the business of like talking them out of purchasing, because then the realtors will never send me business again. But I would be kind of waiting around. I think, if you're out buying, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
People might be getting themselves into messes they don't even understand yet.
Yeah, pretty soon, like people are going to be selling all kinds of shit on like Facebook Marketplace and like Craigslist.
Big good deals on boats.
Yeah, like go get that kayak you've wanted, or. So yeah, I mean, everybody I talk to, they have nobody really knows like how it's going to pan out. And like if anything, anybody that thought they knew what they were talking about in the last like 2 weeks, they were completely wrong. So like
it's become pretty evident, and that goes for everyone across the board.
Yeah, I mean, we really are. I don't think there's ever been kind of like a situation like this, so people don't really know what to do. I'm just kind of grateful that I still get to work through this, and hopefully it doesn't last too long.
I think one of the things we're going to see, I know my wife is in the healthcare industry, and now CMS is relaxing a lot of rules that they have strictly enforced over the years. And they're doing telehealth now where they never could do that before. They're authorizing people to do things and bypass systems that have been in place for over 50 years. And now they're just wiping all that away to get people taken care of. I think we're going to see that same thing follow into the financial industry. They're going to go back and take some of these rules and regulations that have been in place for a long time and relax them so that we can get through this. I really don't know how else they'll do that. And like Josh is leading to, it's a day-by-day thing. What rule is in place today may not be there tomorrow. So you really kind of got to stay in touch every day with it to keep up with it.
Yeah, it's just very volatile.
And there's very little data so far,
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 weeks of data right now. Yeah.
But in the real estate market, you've really seen me and Tracy were talking about it yesterday. There's been no effect yet on the market as far as data and numbers go that we can see,
I mean, people are still buying. It seems like the inventory is getting a little low.
Yeah, I just looked at the MLS on the market report, and the inventory is really low.
Yeah. I don't know.
One thing I thought of though was the building industry had been advertising on TV about how they still working. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about homes, and some of the big contractors have got the money, the backing and whatever. They still putting their people to work. They building houses, and I was asking somebody yesterday, do you think that this may happen by this happening? Do you think that we may have more of a buyer's market when this is over with? Because if they build, like you said, now what I'm hearing is that inventory is real low, but are they doing that to catch up? What I just said, or was they building and they're going to have a few houses on the market to turn it back to a buyer's market?
I know the contractors are deemed necessary. You know, they have to keep building. So, you know, honestly, like my bigger fear is that, you know, anybody buying homes right now, and then let's say the market gets flipped upside down, and a year from now, their houses, they're underwater. Like, you know, it could drop like $100,000 in value, and then, you know, we're kind of back to 2008. So like,
yep.
It's kind of, you know, it's scary. And it's still like really unpredictable.
Yeah, and I had some people from Florence come and look at the house Saturday, and they called and they said they would wait until a little later. Maybe this virus thing's over with. Well, okay, fine, that's not a problem. It's gonna sit there. But I would like to get it sold. But do I want to go meet them to do that? And at my age and with the underlying conditions and stuff, I never thought of this before because I never thought I was this old before. Okay, and or that I had the problems that I had that I never thought was going to be it. And I keep talking here. I'm talking about these old people. You know, old people. Well, heck, underlying conditions. You know, they got diabetes. Okay, fine, I got that. I got heart disease. Well, I got AFib. Okay. And all of a sudden, hell, they're talking about me, must be, you know. So, and thank God several people have offered, hey, Santa, if you got somebody, whatever, you just call me, I'll meet them, and I'll go. And this is a person that don't feel, these people that don't feel that they're in that category. And I really appreciate that. I mean, hey, if I could sell another house today, hey, I'd love it. Yeah, I'd even take a good little deal to let something go. That gives me more insurance. So whatever, you know, I don't know how you. I noticed Will said he had 3 houses on the market right now. He got 4 working, but he shut those 4 down. He said, when I sell these 3 houses, I'll get started back. And I can enjoy time with my family now because my kids, I'm getting to learn how to do schoolwork with them. And several people have said that to me, and that's what they're doing.
When you say he shut them down, he's got them off the market now?
No, he's got them on market, but he says but he's not rehabbing or building right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we will either. I mean, we got to finish this house that we're finishing, you know, can't stop in the middle. We've got about a week to go, and we'll put that on the market. But anything we buy after that will just be rentals.
Yeah. Your slave driver that you got, he pushes people. So that's, y'all get some people are tickled to death to get it done in 90 days, and y'all were over a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael. Yeah, MG, I call him Michael. Everybody else calls him MG. If he doesn't get it done in less than a month, he doesn't feel like he's done a good job.
Yep, that's good. That's good. Well, a lot of us need more of that. You know, we all get complacent and a little lazy and too fat and sassy, and this is bringing us back to reality.
Too fat and sassy.
Yep. Y'all ever know me to be fat? I have been. I've lost from a 44 pants in the waist to a 34, and I'm down in the 180s, and I hadn't been there since I was maybe a sophomore in high school. Yep. All right. What else we got going, people? Y'all, you're getting better. You're talking. For those that ain't been saying anything, what you got to say?
Does anyone know anyone who has or had coronavirus?
Yes.
Not personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were they close to you? We can stay on
No, she's actually in New York.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Her and her
sorry to hear that.
significant other has it.
How are they
They're
doing?
doing okay?
They actually doing fine. They were the ones. They're not like hospitalized. They were back home to I guess hopefully that they'll work through it, and if it worsens, then they need to go back. But they did test positive. So it is real.
Yeah, I just hope all those people from out of state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, those that are in the hot spots, don't bring it here like they did to Florida and Texas and Louisiana. I think we kind of, we're seeing an increase now, but I think it's because of the testing. And like I said, when the testing increases, we'll see more positive cases, just like everybody else has. But just being positive doesn't mean that you're actually sick or, you know, have anything more than a cold or you know, flu-like symptoms. You know,
they actually didn't really have, she actually really didn't have any of the symptoms that they were saying that which are supposed to have a flu-like symptoms. She just said that she had no taste and no smell. And her significant other was throwing up. So I don't know if you've seen the update, but you'll see that they actually changed the symptoms of the coronavirus. So she was the one who had that new batch of symptoms. Her symptoms wasn't flu-like at all. Her symptoms was totally different. She tested positive. So
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
everything, just like what the guy was saying, everything's changing day by day. It's like everything is changing day by day on all levels. On all levels.
The one thing I've been doing to keep track of at least what's happening here locally in South Carolina, if y'all don't follow like Governor McMaster's Facebook page, then like they're always doing news conferences like every day or every other day or whatever. And last week they had talked about it was 456 cases last Thursday. By this Thursday they were projecting 2,500 cases in South Carolina. That's April 2nd, and then May 2nd. There was just what the DHEC has said their projections are for South Carolina. And that's not necessarily new cases. That's 8,000 total cases up until this point. So those are people that have recovered, people who just got it, that sort of thing. But, you know, I'm not a public health, you know, person. So, you know, but I do follow the governor's thing simply for that. So that might be a good resource for you guys to check out.
Well, they're looking for this thing not to even peak until the end of April.
Exactly.
I know. It's so crazy.
That's what's scary about it. We haven't even seen the beginning of it, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they was
Facts,
talking
that's
about.
facts.
You know, going from 2,500 to 8,000 in 4 weeks is a pretty big deal.
I know 34 people at MUSC have the virus.
Yeah, I heard that too. The nurses are getting sick, and
I'm thinking like June.
That's 34 employees. It's not 34 patients. From what I hear, that's 34 employees of MUSC.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. Yeah.
Right. Tim, are you in the medical field, or am I wrong?
I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse.
You're a nurse. So can you shed some light on what you're seeing and what your colleagues are saying? And
dude, I don't have like the best So I work at a long-term hospital. We don't have an emergency department. We get people from, you know, MUSC, Roper, places like that. I mean, I took care of a guy last weekend who possibly had it. I'd say probably doesn't, but he's a rule out. So I had to like wear a mask the whole weekend. But we don't have anyone positive there. I also work at Bishop Gadsden, which is a retirement community. I know there's a couple people diagnosed there in like the independent living area, but they are so far removed from where I am that it's independent living. It's like they might as well be at their home. So I'm not seeing it. I know that like there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of like my hospital it's like they're hoarding supplies for the just in case, which sucks because it's kind of, I don't know. There's like a low level panic, you know?
Yeah.
So
And for sure, we don't want that panic.
correct. Oh my gosh. And
Oh
I don't
God,
know.
if we can just eliminate the panic, then people can think normally.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tommy, 100%.
Thanks.
Yeah, my daughter from Indiana is a lab technician, and she was actually sent home with reduced hours. They're paying her for 60% of her hours, and she volunteered to be on standby in case the stuff hits the fan. And she was taking the time out to be with the kids and my grandkids and helping out around the house. That was in Indiana. She lives in a rural place. She works at a pretty good sized hospital, a little bit south of Indianapolis. She has to travel about an hour to get there. So stuff doesn't really, it's for the places that are not, right on top of each other, and for those that haven't been in contact for a long time with a lot of people, it's really not affecting anything. Just like Berkeley County, I think, had 4 cases. 3 of them were at home, and I think 1 of them was hospitalized. And that again goes for the nurses and doctors down at MUSC. They were sent home, and not being patients. They were sent home to get over it and quarantine themselves for 2 weeks. So, when a healthcare expert, gets sent home, or when a healthcare worker gets sent home, it's to protect them. I think if we just lock everything down for like the president says, and lock everything down for the 2 weeks or a month that it's going to take to get over this, and we're still going to go by his guidelines of maybe getting, the places that can go back to work, like the places in Montana that has, 2 or 3 cases, and they're not even hospitalized cases. That's going to be the trick to the whole thing. Don't spread it. We'll get over it. And I think once we get over it and have a handle on it and have not necessarily the cure for it, because there are no cures, it's just going to be to fight it's a flu or a virus, and viruses you got to fight with, like a flu shot or whatever. Once we get those on board and able to do them like next year, I think it's going to be all well and good. I think we're going to go back to normal here pretty soon. The economy's going to take a hit, but like the president says, he's hoping it comes back roaring, because you're going to have all these people, except for the ones that have really lost their jobs, come back to all the restaurants, all the fast foods that are now not doing anything but, takeouts and stuff like that. I think once they come back online, it's going to pick up. I think all the restaurants are going to pick back up. Grocery stores are still working. They've got to have the people stocking shelves, everything. As you can see, some of us in our industry, the big builders are still building. We got a lot of us that are still out there working every day, whether it's on computer, which a lot of us have done, whether it's out there, showing houses, which we can do and stay distanced. You know, and Josh, you know, yeah, it might go all to hell in a handbag. But then again, I think it's going to come back. We're going to recover. Shelley gave us a good link to help out with, you know, some recovery for us. I think I just saw her sign off. But I think we're going to come through this all right. It's just that for right now, we really just didn't know how to handle everything and weren't handling some of the things in the best way. But it seems like we've got a handle on it now. And yeah, we're still waiting for a peak, but hey, it's, you know, one of my friends from Connecticut wanted to drive down, and I said, don't bring it here. Don't bring it to Charleston. Don't bring it to Goose Creek. You know, he may not have it, but he knows somebody in Massachusetts that does have it. I mean, he's social distancing from them. His sons are out in Kansas. Kansas City's a hot spot. You know, his son just left Connecticut a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Hopefully he didn't take it with him and is spreading it. But you know, I think we'll all come through it all right in the long run. We just gotta, you know, abide by the rules and regulations, even though we don't like some of them. You know, the social distancing, things like that. I know I went out, you know, grocery shopping last Tuesday. The stores were all cleaned off. The shelves were all cleaned off of the essentials. Susan had to make a run yesterday, and she stopped in Walgreens for some hand sanitizer that they advertised. That was cleaned out. You know, things like that. People are being a little bit unreasonable, I think.
They're getting
you know,
bored.
Exactly. You know, as far as the real estate, yeah, as far as the real estate goes, like I said, I think it's going to come roaring back. You know, we've got our houses that we're sitting on. We've got our land that we're sitting on. I think kind of like to what Josh was saying, people have not been able to get mortgages people that were qualified are now not qualified. So yeah, it may have slowed down a little bit, but once they get back to work, once they get the economy going back again, I think it's going to come roaring back. So,
Sammy, you still on? Sammy Black.
Right here. What you got?
I just got a call from Will Silver. He asked me to tell you to call him.
Okay.
If you don't have his number, I'll give it to you after the meeting, okay?
I believe I do.
Okay. All right. What else? What else got? Where are we going? What's going on? What can we do? How can we help each other? How can we help other people right now?
What do you guys think about, sorry, Sammy, were you about to say something?
No, go ahead, please.
What do you guys think about, like, the direction? So, like, commercial real estate is just getting crushed. And, like, I kind of feel like with Zoom and, you know, I think this could kind of tweak the way that things move forward with a lot more people, like, kind of working from home. Once, like, you know, once everything's set so that all these companies are able to survive and people are working out of their home offices, I think there's a good chance a lot of those people won't want to go back to the office and they'll just end up wanting to work from home.
I agree to that because there's more of that happening. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I 100% agree. Everything is going to come down. You know, as much as people are saying, you know, real estate is an asset, you know, as we're trying to build wealth, it's going to come the next biggest asset is going to be intellectual property. It's going to be packaging up your knowledge, copywriting it or trademarking it, and then making that as an asset as well. Because everything's going to come down to content. If anything on the internet is coming down to the content, the best content wins.
I think it's going to boil down.
That's the field that I'm in. I'm in a content field. I work a lot with content. The content can be anything. Content can be video, audio, or written. And video is the highest converting of content. But all of that, so building online programs, writing books, education is about to be, this intellectual property that's the next thing that's coming up, even for teachers. Being that these kids are going homeschooling, it's game changer for teachers. I don't think teachers have to worry about being paid under salary at all anymore. Love, you could come up with your own curriculum and sell it to those exact same students online who are homeschoolers, or the people who are probably going to keep their homes now, being that they can work from home and do their kids if that's what they're choosing to do. But this movement is definitely game changer, and it's coming strictly to the internet. Like
I think we're going to also
and that's
see
where the money's going to come at.
People are going to learn they can save a lot of money by having their employees work from home.
Exactly.
I think ultimately it's going to boil down to productivity. Are they as productive? You know,
yes.
Where are they more productive and most effective, cost efficient?
There are going to be some industries where they're going to need to be in an office because of the environment that it creates, just like you're talking about with production. Because my wife's business, they have 300 employees and they're all working from home, and they're all about to go crazy because they haven't had any interaction with each other than like this. Right. So they don't do well in that arena. But she has worked from home for 7 years, and now they all appreciate the things that she gets done because she's twice as productive as the people that go into the office. So
it takes a lot of self-discipline to be able to do it, you know.
And so that's one of those things we're going to see change here, and I think people are going to become awake. I think our schools, you know, we've been saying for a long time, I thought schools, they could handle the bullying and all of that by staying home and doing online classes, and this may open that up. Just think of the money they're saving on buses alone. And they haven't had a fight at my daughter's school in 2 weeks.
Ain't been nobody there.
People who are concierge trainers, like in the field I am, it's big money in that business, because you can easily come up with ways how you can train these companies and train their whole entire team to get their whole process and their back end very efficient to run online and get everything organized, because it comes down to organization and structure. And if the people who's in the field, like how I'm already in, I will be pitching to these companies and with ASAP, because they're going to need it. So it's like a whole another window that's opening up for jobs opportunities or money opportunities. That's just, I already work from home and I already homeschool, so nothing has changed for me. But it's just game changing. And then you could buy your groceries from the house.
How many of your kids have you strangled so far?
Oh yeah, it's hard. Now this kind of homeschooling is hard because we can't go anywhere. And when you're really homeschooling, you're taking your child out at least once or twice a week, because it's more like you're teaching them the world. So when we can't go anywhere and we're only restricted like in the house or to the grocery store and all of that, it's very hard. It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
Well, as far as education goes, excuse me, I think that the way that they could have it work with fewer schools, brick and mortar, is it would probably be more cost efficient for them to pay a parent to stay home and homeschool a child or children, rather than run the buses, keep the lights on, cook the food, everything else. So that's the only way I could see that whole system changing, because a lot of parents just can't have a parent stay home and homeschool the kids all day, every day.
I think, and the people that are in here close to my age, are gonna agree more so than the millennials or older, because most of the people, what we were trained at as to whatever, we the social people. I'm that way. I love that we having these Zoom meetings because we can't get together to do them. Shouldn't be together to do them. And when I take that out in the marketplace, when I go to somebody, I would much rather see them face to face. Are you with me, Tracy, on that?
Yeah, no, I get a better feeling for somebody when I can see them and see the reactions and hear their tone a little bit different than this.
Yes. And then you get the younger people that are, they would rather, they'll sit in a room. I've had this, as many as 6 of my grandkids in the same room, and me being with them, or the mamas or dads or my wife or somebody, and they not saying a word. That's unusual. They don't say a word from where I come from, time period, but they are texting each other, and they sit at the same table or in the same room. But they would much rather text each other, and they can say things that they wouldn't have said in person, I don't think. So they're able to hit the marketplace with their type of doing, because they're connecting with those same people. A lot of times I know we've done some, I've let people use my likeness to be able to advertise. And people may recognize my face, or they would say, well, we can try Santa because we don't know him, but Santa can't do nothing wrong, obviously. And I hope not. I hope that's what I carried for 25 years, that Santa couldn't do anything wrong. I'd rather pull the money out of my pocket to pay than to lose you. I meant to do you wrong. But I don't think that it's just hard for me to say that I'm high in this world, because I know the minute this thing's over with, this boy's going to be out, and I'm going to be out face to face with my people, with friends, with family, with new people, and friends, and people that are strangers as people that I've never met. That's the way I look at life. And so how, and I feel more comfortable about giving them the figures, or how I'm planning to buy their property, how they can trust me. Can they trust me over the phone? I don't know, because I've noticed a lot of people that use my likeness, and they would say, well, we're going to use Google Voice, and we're going to not answer the phone. We're going to let them leave a message, and that's kind of stuff. And I've always been trained that if the phone rings, you put out a number and the phone rings, answer that bad boy. Because a lot of people tell you, hey, I called 14 people and maybe one of them called me back. Maybe I'll buy from that person. Or maybe one person answered the phone, so they'll buy from that person if they got what I want. So I don't know how this is going to be. This might be this game changer that we all got to learn. Whether it's us as the older crowd, or is it the younger crowd? Are we going to have to learn how they do? Whatever. What do y'all think?
I think it's just like anything else, right? The truth is always somewhere in between. I think it's always a mixture of those.
Maybe everybody don't want
savings.
face to face. I don't know.
Santa?
Yeah, you got to look at everything in perspective. You got to look at the companies like the FedExes and the Amazons and all the companies that do business online already. They're actually growing. They're actually hiring people. So yeah, the way business is done is going to change. I think our business will still be a face-to-face, personalized business for the most part. But yeah, as far as answering the phone and stuff, right now, I would rather have somebody leave a message That way I know when I call them back that it's them that I'm calling back. I don't want somebody to call me with a, hey, I'm still authorized for a back brace when I have no back problems. I don't need a coronavirus update. I don't need all the scams calling me. So I don't answer the phone. If they don't leave a message and I can reassure that I'm calling back somebody that I'm going to actually want to talk to. I mean, if somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm looking at your house, your number here and give me a call. Yeah, I'll call them back. If somebody just calls and hangs up and all I've got is a callback message, a callback number on the message, I'm not calling them back. Everybody knows how to use answering machines now. They've been around for over 40 years. Leave a message.
I eliminated that problem.
You don't have one.
I cut it off this past week. Sure did. I'm sick and tired of somebody put that on Facebook or sent me a message to pass on. He said maybe we can call the people in India because they home and we can sell them something because they want to sell me a warranty for a car. Yeah, you're out of your mind. Come on. Yeah.
I can understand, that people have a job to do, for some of the warranties and stuff like that. Like, yeah, my truck is out of warranty. I'm going to have to come out of pocket if there's something wrong, wrong with my truck. But I've got a good mechanic. But I do want to check into, some of the warranty programs. I know that's just one thing, but I don't want somebody calling me that I'm not going to call back, or like I said, right now, if I get somebody that I actually don't want to talk to, I've got the coronavirus, so why are you calling me? I've actually told that to 2 or 3 people, and they hang up real quick. I don't know why, but I mean, they ain't gonna catch anything through the phone, but they just hang up real quick. So it's been funny, but then again, like I say, I'll talk to somebody if they leave a message or if I think the phone number is familiar, but I've got phone numbers that, if it's somebody that I'm expecting the phone call, I usually got a name and number to match. If it's somebody that I'm not and it's a local area number, I may or may not answer it. Like I said, even some of the local calls, getting people that want to sell you this and that. Granted, they've got jobs to do, but, some of it's getting ridiculous. But then again, I think business is going to change in the way things are done. Like we said, there's going to be more online business done. That's been slowly going that way. Retail is going out. Malls are changing into hospitals. Yeah, you still got to go to stores to check out things and see things. I still want to go see, my camera that I want to buy. I want to still go see that in person, and then maybe I'll come back and order it online. Because I can use the savings, from store savings, online savings. I might not even purchase it from that store. But then again, that's the way business is going nowadays. But there's always going to be some stores open, but like we're saying, commercial is shutting down. There's still going to be room for commercial. I think it's going to be, they may be being crushed now, but Amazon is expanding. All the, some of the airline industries have gone from, doing nothing but freight now. They've even taken some of the freight, some of the local airline flights and made them into freight to shift the freight around the country. Because like I said, with nobody nobody being able to go out and all the online stuff that's being done. Amazon's still rolling out their trucks. They're still going to have mechanics to do trucks and stuff. You know, just different things, different ways of doing business. Business has always changed. I think we're going to come out of this all right.
Yeah, it's gonna change, but the offline is what activates the online, and vice versa. So it's kind of like, how do you say, like a loop? It's gonna like double back. It's both. Both of them is gonna be hitting heavy, but the thing is, with online can trigger people to go buy a certain product inside of a store by just somebody going live and sharing their opinion. Those are called influencers, who share their opinion about a product and send millions of people to go buy a certain product. It's going to piggyback back and forth, but at the end of the day, a video is considered content. And so like you can do even if I'm doing the training, I can have a group coaching training online, and I can have a 2-day event offline for the same group of people so they can get the offline and online experience. Like I'm excited. I'm excited about this time. I'm excited where business is going. It's on both ends. It can impact both ends. But the thing is, money, it can be made with so much speed online. There's a girl I follow on Instagram who made $1 million in 60 minutes from launching a makeup. Like, social media and online is so powerful. It's going to come down to content. So many people are doing so many videos, TikTok and all of that. It's going to come down to content's going to be king. And I suggest people to start going into intellectual property and start packaging up your information and education ASAP.
Thank you, baby.
That's going to be a high asset, even for your kids and your grandkids. Even when you pass on, like, it's going to be gold where we going.
Everybody says 2020 is the year of the video for content.
And if people who's already been putting up videos and stuff like that is kind of already ahead of the game because they've been engaging with their audience. Everybody has an audience online, whether you know it or not. You got 5,000 friends and you post, you're posting to an audience of 5,000.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how it's looked on a business tip.
Well, I always looked at our real estate investing groups as to what we have. And when we come there, buy, sell, or help you work with a problem situation, or help you work through a deal or whatever, I said that, you know, whenever people say, why in the world would you want to do that? Why would you want to tell that? Well, first off, I'm not greedy. I want to be able to help somebody else. But I look at it as, where else could you go? Today, I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have 17 people that's been online with us this morning. Either they on there now or off. But where else could you go and be in front of an audience that had 17 people there that's could be possible buyers, or help you sell it? So that's where I was looking back at that. If you take and reverse that to what you just said, so we could do it on a video to that many people also.
Yes, it'll be game changing. Oh my God. If y'all I was collecting an audience in a group and going live to a group of people, oh my goodness. Yes. Yes, that'll be game changing.
Mick Ewan, you know, like I said, he's a HUD person for down this part, but he's also a realtor. He's a note buyer, seller, whatever, and educator. But he in the HUD, stuff. I think he's got 9 properties right now for HUD. And they're he said there's quite a few of them at over $200,000. So and there was one property on there he told me about yesterday that I knew the people, and I introduced him to those people because that's what they were going to do. And it made it easy for him to be able to walk in the door and say, I'm at HUD, this is what we're doing, that type thing. So it's very evident what you just said. All right. Say something. Has anybody else got a property they want to sell? I know, Steve, you said you had some on that and you've told about them. Has anybody else got anything? Is everybody on mute?
Most people are.
Yes.
Well, get off of
No,
mute.
no.
Everybody answering too. Behind that
We're
mute. Yeah,
here.
we're
We're here,
good. No
I'm here.
questions.
Go ahead, Nona. You said you got something.
Oh, I'm just saying hi, and the mobile home that I showed you, Santa on Katy, is ready to go.
All right.
Seller financing, or no, option, however, all the
Yeah.
great stuff.
Rent option, lease option with option to buy. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right.
Hey, Noah, can we meet online for that insurance? Would that be okay, or do we have to wait until another time?
Noah or Tammy?
Noah.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Sorry.
No.
Please forgive me.
No problem.
But can we
I
meet
get that all the time.
online for the that insurance? Can we do
Yes,
what we're doing now?
We
Would that
can.
work for you?
Definitely. So I didn't want to, because people were kind of like scared. So I was just waiting for you, but we can definitely do Zoom. No problem at all.
Okay, so we can go.
Yeah, I'll
we
set
can do
up a Zoom.
tomorrow. I'll text you a time.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Does anybody need anything from Sam's? I'm here at the moment. Just kidding.
You did good. Let me check with my wife.
Text me a list, please. Vitamin C.
That's good, baby. You come up good. I guess somebody else thought that was funny. Next, barbershop. Are y'all ready to call this quits or what?
Yeah, I gotta go, so I'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
Y'all have a good one. Be safe.
All right, you guys. See you guys.
Nia, do I have your number, Nia? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'll text you. I'm texting you now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Is there anybody else got anything?
Bye.
Good to see y'all.
Good to see you. Good to
Yeah.
hear
Good
from
to
you.
see you. Bye.
Yeah, you
Check
gotta
in
get-
next week.
You will.
All right. Check in during the week, whatever. Call us if you need a Zoom deal, want to do one or whatever, just call. We'll get you set up. Okay?
Thanks, buddy.
Sounds good, Tommy.
All
Have a
right,
good
man.
one, sir.
I've really
Thanks,
enjoyed it. And I
everyone.
appreciate you.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Sounds good,
Bye,
everybody. Have a
everyone.
good week.
If you don't have my phone number, call me. If you
That's someone
got it.
that does.
There you go. 843-870-4415. Call my number. Thank you. Thank you, Felix.
Yeah, always
Appreciate you,
happy to
Frank.
help. It's good fun.
All right.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Bye,
good for
Santa.
us to have that many people online. We were, what?
Yeah, we got up to like 23 people.
Did we?
Something like that.
Did we? Fantastic. I was right.
Yeah, and the only reason the other ones left is they had like other meetings. They had to hop on other calls, that sort of thing. So
Right. Yeah.
And I was recording this whole thing. So we should, let's see, do you want